What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and you're watching our Pac-12 football channel. All right, we have shown you the 2020 schedule for USC. Now we're going to give you the projected record for the Trojans. And again, this is not our official prediction. It's simply a projection based on their odds to win each game, based off of what I think Vegas would have to say about each game. And then you average it all out and just get a projection. So it gives you an idea of what their record will be. Our prediction might look a little bit different. We'll have to wait and see about that. But again, this is a schedule and this is our scale. So if it's a green game, if we put it in green, that means it's a 99% chance that USC wins that game. It's a game where they're going to be favored by 20 plus points. 80% is a game where they'll be favored by double digits, but it's not a guaranteed win. 60% is more like 7, 8, 9 points, favored by about that much. And again, we're kind of trying to guess what Vegas would do here as well. And then you've got the opposite side of that, and the 50-50 games are the games that I think will be 4 points or less. The spread will be about 4 points or less. Games that could really go either way. And we start with the green games. Only one for USC. That's New Mexico. Again, you have to applaud their schedule. Not only do they play Notre Dame, they also play Alabama. 9 conference games. So I think it's okay if they have one easy game on there, and that one game would be New Mexico. Again, that's really the only gimme on the schedule for USC, and it comes on September 12th. So one win for USC, and the rest, it could potentially be losses. They're going to be favored in a lot of these games, but no guaranteed wins outside of New Mexico. Colorado is an 80% chance to win that game, in my opinion. I think Colorado's just not going to be very good next year. The game's at home for USC. I would be very surprised if they lost that game. So we're going to say 80% for that. And again, when we average these out at the end, the 80% and the 99% games, those are both considered wins, so it really doesn't matter. But New Mexico and Colorado, again, will be wins in our opinion for USC. Now we've got the games where they're going to be favored. Not huge favorites, but I think they will be favored by about a touchdown. We've got Stanford on the road. Of course, Stanford was not very good last year. Arizona State's a home game for USC. I just really like the offense for USC. I think they're going to be so explosive. Maybe that's a 50-50 game. If it was at Arizona State, I think I would have that as a 50-50 game. But I'm actually going to favor USC with that game being at home. Utah lost a ton. I think USC will be favored there. Cal will be a tricky game. Cal is very similar to Arizona State. I think if it was on the road, I would call it 50-50. But USC at home, we're going to give them a little bit of an edge there. Arizona on the road, I think that they'll be favored by 8 or 9 points in that one. And then UCLA, that one also on the road. But I think USC is going to be favored in that game as well. Again, I think USC is one of the top teams in the Pac-12 South. I may be wrong, and if I am wrong, then these percentages would obviously change. So there is some of our input in this projection, but I'm also, again, trying to guess what Vegas would do as well. So those are all the games where USC is favored, and there's a lot of them. We go to the other side now, the games where USC will not be favored, and I've only got them at 20% for Alabama. I'm not saying there's no chance that they win that game, but it would be very surprising. I think Alabama will be double-digit favorites in that matchup, probably about a 2-touchdown favorite, maybe even more than that, knowing the history of Alabama in these early season non-conference games. So that's going to be about impossible to win, but not impossible. We're going to go 20%. So that's going to be counted as a loss. And then Oregon, I think, will be favored over USC. The game is on the road. Oregon, I think, is clearly still the best team in the Pac-12. I think USC will have a shot in that game. That's why I've got it at 40% for them. But I think it's going to be tough. So we're going to go 40% against Oregon. And that gives you really just 2 games where they're going to be underdogs, and everything else, they're going to be favored, or it's going to be really close. Now, they'll probably be a slight underdog against Notre Dame, but I don't think it'll be more than about a field goal. So we're going to say that they'll have a chance, especially with that game being at home. That's going to give USC a really good opportunity to win that one at the end of the season. And then Washington, it's a good year to get Washington. New quarterback, new head coach. A little bit of a transition year, plus you get them at home. So I really like the way this schedule sets up for USC, and as far as their overall record is going to be at the end of the year. It's a very tough schedule for a Pac-12 team at least, but as far as the wins and losses go, I think it sets up in a way that is going to be favorable for USC. I think they're going to have a really good year this year and potentially get up close to 10 wins. We'll see how it plays out, but for this video, we just averaged these numbers out, and the projection is 7-5. So yes, they have a bunch of games where they're favored, But these games where they're only favored at 60%, well, you average those out, and that would tell you that they're going to lose a couple of those games, and they're going to lose to Alabama, and they might lose to Oregon, and they're going to split the Washington Notre Dame games. And when you average all those numbers out, the projection for USC is 7-5. I think they absolutely can do better than that. I probably will predict them to do better than 7-5. But just the projection, that's really kind of conservative. These projections, again, yeah, they're very conservative. That's a good way to put it. We're not going to have a bunch of undefeated teams. We're going to have more teams that are 6-6, 7-5 than we are going to be 11-1 or 12-0. And USC's projection does come out to be 7-5. Not a horrible year, but I think USC fans want to see a little bit more than that, and I think they're probably going to get it based off of my predictions right now. I'm fully decided, but I'm probably going to go a little bit higher than 7-5. So USC projected to go 7-5. What do all of you think? Let me know down in the comments below.